Tell them, please, why don't you go just a day and then you can go for sightseeing? No, we have no time. All the time you'd look at it's natural for him, there's no time. You can't have many days holiday or something like that. So he has no time because he has to go, the itinerary is so fixed is that he must go to Udaipur by the next flight. And they have been booked over there, There's a palace in a lake, They want to have the taste of it and all that sort of thing. And see Udaipur and all that. And from there they are going further north. So when they are going, what had happened was that he went straight with the heavy baggage to the booking office there to confirm his flight and all that, and told his wife, what was the name of the wife? Nice name, I forget that. So said, you pay off the cabbie man. So she is fumbling and all that in a bag that she's carrying. All the checkbooks are there, everything is there, the credit card and passports and everything, visa and whatever it was there, all the papers and money, a lot of money. They are going to spend 10 days for sightseeing in India. So while she is paying off, she had put a small overnight bag there on the ground. And a person comes, an Indian, says, I'll help you, and picks up the bag and tries to get away. So she's in a panic. No, you keep it here. He doesn't understand English. So what she did, she threw the whole bag in the cab and she ran after the man. And the man disappeared and the cabbie man took away the cab and finished. That's all. That's the end of the whole thing. So she goes there and tells to her husband, this is what has happened. So husband, when getting down, he had noted the number of the cab. So he remembered the number of the cab. But he didn't know whether it was MBF, MHB or something like that. That was missing the number. So he reported to the police. Police says, well, what about the letters that are there? So he says, I don't remember that, but I know this. This is the number of the car. So nobody is paying attention. So naturally they again go to Jal Dolly's place. They go to you and says, Jal, we have lost everything. We have nothing left. Jal then comforted them and says, wait, we should do something. Have you reported the police? And so, yeah, we have reported the police, but we have nothing left now. And this is New Year. Next day is the New Year, it should be. So it so happened that, well, to cut the whole story short, what had happened is, many things, paper reported all the episode and all that. They are trying to find out, but no, nothing. So Jal takes him to his sister, who is a bit of who is a lawyer. Jal's sister was a lawyer. She's no more here. She's in Switzerland most probably. So she takes them to the police commissioner, police head. Who? Commissioner? Commissioner of police. Who is the head? And there she goes on jabbering, in her own legal term, and says, well, our image of India is at stake now. Here is the vice president of Chase Manhattan Bank, has been robbed and has no money, and you all should do something, and this and all. And everything is stirred up. And who's going to look? It's a holiday now. Tomorrow is the New Year. Who is going to go in for all this sort of thing? But immediately, because of her talk, you see, immediately they took cognizance of it and says, well, we'll call somebody. Please don't feel concerned about it. We'll see. But did you not report? Says, nobody took interest in our case. We have been trying to tell those people, but they says, why don't you remember the number? How are we supposed to remember? I remember the figures. I don't remember the letters and this and that. Anything. Eventually what happened is that he called his men, and within 24 hours, you see, it so happened that they could trace. It was traced. The phone rang and it was considered that it is found, but it is now, the culprits have been caught. So they went to the office, police office to collect it, but they were refused. They were not given. He says, well, you'll have to wait because it's in the custody of the magistrate now, because a case has been filed against the culprit. So these things are needed as exhibits. Yeah, evidence. These are our things. No, please wait for a day or two. So we are losing time here. So what had happened is they waited. And in the meantime, on New Year's evening, when they are again at the dining table, the son phones to Maria Popo, saying that, Ma, we have found everything, but we haven't got it yet. But in a day's time, we'll be seeing you will be coming to. And it was the best present for the new year from Baba. She was so happy. And then just hear the tale. Here she comes and she's very happy and tells me that. And I said, look, Baba heard your prayer, eh? But at what cost? The hard way he has to learn. She says, yeah, but Baba brings. She would talk like that. She said, Baba brings. So I said, yeah. And then their tale now, they couldn't come this next day, they couldn't come. Something happened. And what had happened, they told us when they came. So both are there. Mother is very happy and all that. All are here. The whole family is here. Mother, son, daughter-in-law. They are all here. But they are very happy to have come here. They are not sad because they got all the things they had lost and everything was found. Nothing was lost. Most important thing is the credit card, he said. So the thing is that what had happened, why could they not come the next day? Because it was in the custody of the magistrate. So when the court opened on 2nd of January, we went there because we were told to go to a certain magistrate there in the court there and he'll be handing over the things. We went there and now she picks up the conversation and says, this is the worst humiliation I have ever come across in my life. So what is the humiliation? I said, going to the court to get your things. He says, no, it's not that, Eruch. So what happened? He says, that was the day when Bombay seemed to have selected to give certificates to all the prostitutes. So I was surrounded by a couple of 100 prostitutes and I was by myself over there, you see, and to pick up my things. And he says, Eruch, because we didn't listen to our mother, on my New Year's Day, I had only one banana and a glass of water. Yeah, but at last we are here. This is how he brings us here. He accepted that. But then they had a little secret talk and conversation with Baba, which they eventually told us. And of course, it's one's fantasy or whatever it is. So what is happening now? Now let us digress to the day that they were at Jal's place for the first time with Mother. So Mother is there to be bundled and sent to Ahmednagar. In any way you want to. Hands her to Jal and Dolly. But they are insisting, why don't you go with your mother and all that. So this talk is taking place between Jal, Dolly and her son. Whereas she is turning and admiring the portrait of Baba. There's a big picture of Baba there, just there, as you enter there at that place. So she looks, and then this is what she confided eventually. So it says, when I look there, and while this debate is taking place, Mother is insisting that I should come, they are insisting that we should go there, but no, we were determined to go for sightseeing. So what I see in Baba, actually I saw, she says, that Baba is not at all pleased and he's frowning at us and he is very sad and he doesn't want us to go like this, you see. But I thought that it's my own fantasy or just imagination or something like that. Well, I didn't pay any attention to all this sort of thing. And then we left and this happened and I was reminded of it. And then when we came back, and we are in the midst of all this, and eventually we heard on the phone, and we are meeting Jal Dolly once again, and we are at the place, we have decided to now go to Baba. That same picture that frowned, that smiled, and approved of our plans, you see, very much. Yeah. That's what she said. People, intelligent people, they are, but they feel that way. It seems like that. So this is one of the ways how he brings us to him. By the tail also. Drags. Provided his nazar is on us. You know what nazar means? Nazar means eye, sight, his attention. Once he has his attention on someone or some being, cannot escape. Yeah. So that's how it is. So one case was the wife there, very happy when everything has all disaster there, and another mother very happy when son loses everything. And they haven't met Baba. They know nothing about Baba, but they know everything of him to feel that way. This is what I come to that conclusion, you see. Otherwise, how can that be? Yeah. They don't have any association or anything. No such contact as we had of 40 years as a backing. Nothing of the sort. This is the miracle of Baba's love. This is what we were talking about, the four-lettered word, love. Love. What this love is, I don't know. Funny thing, another way of calling to Baba wanting him to come. We are seated here, the whole hall is full. It's really very full, not the scattered that we are. And these are the early years. And we are talking about most personal things about Baba. Did Baba snore? Did he sleep? What sort of toothpaste? Did he have any teeth? Did he wear glasses? What sort of toothpaste he was using? What sort of soap he would use? Did he take bath every day? And all these personal things, because when they came in the beginning, that was the most important thing for them to know about him. And of course we supplied the information and we opened our hearts to them and they felt happy, whatever must be happening to them. And most of them are the ones who are now the residents. They are there now, yeah, they have become the residents now. So that was the day when they had probed deeply into the most personal side of Baba, and I was giving them the information. I was being open to them because I felt their pulse and their heart, that they are really, it's not inquisitiveness or curiosity, it's the love that they want to know the personal side of Baba. So I was engrossed in telling them all this, and in walks a person, a stranger. We could immediately feel the strangeness of the stranger, you see. And I said, Jai Baba, and no response. He goes straight and finds a little nook there and sits down. So I look at him, no talk. We are all paralyzed. Can't speak out. You can't say things, you see, personal. The conversation is just broken immediately. There's a deep silence there. Nobody speaks. It's very embarrassing and all that. So he sits there. He said, good morning. Said, good morning. He came in the morning. So, when did you arrive? He says, just now. From where have you come? He says, from the States. Monosyllables. You came from the States? You must be in India for some time. He says, no, I've just arrived. Just arrived in India? He says, yeah, last night. So what happened? I came straight by taxi. Oh, you come here straight, directly? He says, yes. You come from the States? He says, yeah. Who told you about Baba? You must have heard from somebody. No, I first asked, do you know somebody in the States? Some Baba lovers? He says, no, I don't know nobody. I don't know anybody. So who told you about MeherBaba then? How did you happen to come here? And cryptic answer was, well, Paramahansa Yogananda told me. Paramahansa Yogananda. First, you see, of course I know that he is no more alive, but I thought that there are so many Babas and Paramahansas and Yoganandas. Another one may have cropped up, who knows? So I just said, well, in which part of the state he is? You know, California? Paramahansa Yogananda. There's a center there. I said, is he alive? So he, for the first time, smiled, saying that what a fool he is. He doesn't know that he has passed away. So he says, no, he is not alive, he's passed away. I said, then how did he tell you? Come on, speak out. What is it? What happened? So he says, oh, it's so simple. From my childhood, my parents are the lovers of Paramahansa, Yogananda. And so, I have been brought up to love him. And I love him deeply, very fervently. I like what he says, and I live that life that he wants me to live and lead. From my childhood, I am growing to know him and love him. But I had a great urge, a yearning to see him once physically. I longed to it, longed to hear of him, see him, hear him speak once in my lifetime. This interesting story developing. So I said, then what happened? I said, one day, 15 days ago, what had happened was that with all these thoughts which are overpowering to me, I was lying in bed thinking of him and wanting to see him physically, and he appeared. And he told me, I want you. I should be very happy, and I was, but he didn't seem to respond to my joy and happiness. On the contrary, he said, with a firmness and authority, I want you to go to MeherBaba. And with that, he gradually receded himself, means faded out. And I was wonderstruck. MeherBaba, who is this? I had not heard of him. So I tried to turn the pages of the telephone directory. Is he here, or where could he be, and all that. Eventually I traced him out somewhere. And I think, if I remember right, he told me that MeherBaba information is listed or something like that. Is it listed, your telephone? Yeah. So he must have inquired from these people, And he says, yeah, you have to go to India for it. So he said, India? He's in India? He says, yeah, he's in India. And naturally, when Paramahansa tells me I can't resist, I must go. So I make preparations, but before that I asked, will I be able to see him? He says, well, they told me that you won't be able to see him. I said, why? If I go to India, won't I be seeing him? He says, well, he passed away so many years ago. Passed away? He says, yeah. Oh, it was a shock to me. What to do now? Should I just go to India for what? Because Paramahansa tells me to go. Will I see him? Will I meet him? What will happen? Eventually, what has happened is that I tried to follow what he told me, because I am a follower of Paramahansa, and I have come here. Just come, just arrived. So I said, well done, you have come here, to the right place, it's good. And he was here with us, he heard all the things, all the stories about Baba and all that. So this is how people come, one after the other. This is slow and steady stream that flows, that he makes people's heart get closer and closer to him. That's how it is. Ask him as to how you should let him come. I will make him speak out for himself. You should hear his hilarious story, as to how he came to Baba. That wild person by name Alan Wagner, you see. Have you heard all that? Have you all heard the story of how my Jack came to Baba?
I was there.
You were there at the time, when he was shaken up and all that.
No, I wasn't at the exact time, but we were all there.
You know the story. You should. He'll tell him to tell you all. No wonder he is doing this, playing upon you people now the same. Yeah. Because he didn't realize what's happening. Why this man is after me like that, you see. And it was so good that he was after me, he said. Yeah. But what prompted him to do that, Alan says, till this day he does not know. But he was a fierce looking person, no? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Still is. At least he fancies it.
Who's fierce looking?
Alan was very fierce looking. You should ask.
Long hair?
Even while he's speaking, he looks at Alan, you see, and he just turns away and says he was really very fierce, you see, with all his hair, you know, huge long beard, a bushy thing, you know.
Eruch Kitty would like to hear how John, my Jack came.
Oh
Because she's
my,
not here on Saturday.
yeah.
You tell us.
No, you tell.
I don't remember the details. So
But will you help me?
Kitty has a story.
I would want to say, we continually have people who come to the center through Yogananda,
Yeah.
and we don't discourage them. We say, go on with Yogananda. Sometime or other, you'll feel that you may have exhausted him and there's something beyond. And it usually always is that they feel there's more love about Baba. It's always the same thing. Is Baba has the love to give, and the other haven't got that.
But
Just
this
to
was
let
an
them
example.
continue.
Yeah.
They'll come one day.
We were followers of Yogananda, my ex-husband and he was in prison for blowing up the draft board. And they refused to send him to lessons anymore when they found out he was in prison. So we said, and then we became followers of Baba.
So what had happened, this is, I don't remember the sequences, although I have heard it twice or thrice in story. But this is what happened. John, he had gone through, well, he had a craze for spirituality. He wanted to know the meaning of life, you see, what is all this? So he read this book and that philosophy, and he went to different classes and schools and this and that and all that. He was a searcher from very young age. So, and in his search one day, he had gone to some bookstores, and he was trying to find out which book was that. Something to do with philosophy or some such thing. He wanted to read something very enlightening, some Oriental philosophy, you see. Because East has the key. It's mysterious East, you see, and so forth. So he's driven there, trying to sort out what to read and all now. He's there and he's trying to have a talk with the one who is selling these books and all that. Can I have this book or this book or this book? And there is a ferocious looking person behind some shelves there. And he has noticed him there. Sees him that some peculiar looking person is there, you know. But he doesn't mind that. And he's talking with that person who is supposed to sell him some good book. So, while they are discussing pros and cons of this book or that book and all that, all of a sudden there comes a person rushing at him and holds his shoulder and just shakes him, you see. He says, "You," and he swears at him. He used to swear a lot, he says. Alan used to do that and swore at him. Bitterly, you may call it, you see. And says, whatever you call it, SOB and all that. And says, you, instead of going to Meher Baba, you're doing this. What is this? So he says, you look here, read Meher Baba's book. And then he said, this is my address. He shook him thoroughly. The way that he shook him, you see, was very, it was something, you see, that brought him down to the earthly level, you know, where he is. So he said, this is some crazy person, who is this Meher Baba and all that, I don't know anything about it. And he completely left the place and went away, walked out, you see. And says, coincidence. How many times I came across this man somewhere on the street or someplace, and I used to get frightened. And he says, well, you didn't see me, I gave you the address. And he came to me once into my house, and then he started telling me about Meher Baba and all that. Why he was after me, I didn't know. But I completely now forget. Now, can you follow it up? What happened then?
I'm trying to remember. Drawing a blank is what I'm doing. I met him about that time.
John?
Yeah, Alan had been telling me about this young boy, he was about 17 at the time.
Yeah.
Potatoes, what did Alan look like then?
I told Alan was very ferocious looking person.
Hippie days, maybe.
Yeah, hippie days.
Did he have a lot of hair?
Yeah, a lot of hair. Big bushy beard.
Just a little bit more in terms of length, but you know.
He was fuller.
Scraggy.
And a beard? A beard, Michelle?
Yeah.
At that time?
Yes.
Well, he did for Moreau.
Oh God, I didn't work
Oh, but I
before.
remember if he did that.
Yeah, he had.
He did. Yeah.
But it's not the quantity of hair, but the way the hair stood up, you see. It looked like a devil, you know. Yeah.
It's the eyes, I think.
Huh?
It's the
It is
eyes.
the eyes and the hair that would stand up, you see. A very ferocious looking person. And to come all of a sudden as a stranger and shake him up, you see, into some sense, you see. Don't you have sense? Haven't you heard the name and you should do this? Going after these people, and he abused the saints and the sages and the perfect masters and all that. I says, what sort of a person? He seems to be a crazy person. And he didn't care for him. So, some mad people at the time, you know, drug people, drug addicts. He took him there. And again he had to confront him. Again this man is after him. He says, well, didn't I give you the address? And he looks sternly at him. Didn't I tell you to call on me? Why did you not do it? He says, who is this person who is trying to move him? And again, some excuse he gave and all that. Says, well, you come and see me. We'll have a good talk. And so forth. So twice here it happened. Then it is said that I think Alan himself paid a visit to him or something like that. Going to his house. Alan went to his house. So now listen what I'm going to say. That's how John heard of Baba.
And how long was that, Marshall, before he appeared in Myrtle Beach?
Who, Alan?
Yes.
No, John.
No, Alan.
Anyway,
He's talking about
Alan.
Alan. When did he come to Myrtle Beach after that?
Well, Alan must have come to Myrtle Beach for the first time in the very early 70s, maybe 72.
But Alan came for Easter, this 1969.
That's right,
summer.
yeah.
The first time, Marshall,
That's right.
Paul Matthews.
Right, with Paul Matthews
Oh, yeah.
and Chris Erickson and Kitty, Whitty Barrett. This was in the
No, he didn't
60s.
bring Winnie Barrett there,
No, he
but
met.
they were very, I remember them when they first came. It was just a disgusting looking.
Yeah.
They really were. They were. They were degenerates.
Be careful, you have to go and have supper tonight.
Could be arsenic.
It's true. It's true. There were all kinds of people coming in, but
But I don't mean they, I mean Alan.
well, the whole group, and Alan was one. Alan. They were you wondered why they were there in the first place. And if it was. I mean, and then later he came back, and eventually Alan moved to Myrtle Beach, and we saw a great deal of him then. I had to get him out of jail. And he would come to our house in the night, when he needed food. He would come. This is true. This is true. She was there. He would come to our house and he would eat a jar of mustard.
Jar of mustard?
And
Mustard?
things like that. And he would eat everything. He would eat everything.
Anything.
At night, in the middle of the night, after he got off work, and I was up late at night nursing a baby, so he knew that I would be up, and he'd come, he'd just eat everything out of the house. All the condiments, ketchup, pickles, olives.
Spice store.
Spicy.
Spice store.
He was like that. And then he would, and then he would go off to wherever he was going that night. Then he would go out to the nightclubs and whatever. He would be full. Yeah. And he was. Well, it's true. It's true. It's true.
It's already been on tape. Universal thing.
It's nothing. And well, what happened was that he came. People move to Myrtle Beach when they cannot live anywhere else in America.
When they're desperate.
When they're that desperate. I mean, this is quite true. And then finally, he could no longer live in Myrtle Beach, and he had the opportunity to come here and to work for James Cox. And James Cox, during that period, was hiring people like that who, and well, Eric and Heather and all these a number of these people, and it was. I remember he was sitting in a chair in our living room, and his life was a wreck in Myrtle Beach. And he was going to have to leave, and this opportunity came from James Cox, and so he took it. And eventually that led him, as you well know, to living in Bangalore, and then in the South, and then eventually, I would assume that James Cox fired him, and then he came here. And so now he's able to employ all of these things. He's in India, so that he can dress any way he chooses, and no,
He can abuse
he abuses the servants, and now and you
he has all the spices.
He has all these things, and now John Majek is here, and he abuses John. It's like it's full circle. It's full circle. And the only thing that's different now is that Alan is older. John still looks like he's 17. Alan is much older and much heavier. He's lost his hair, and he's here. He's here. It's he's loved by all. There he is. He's full circle. This is the end of the road for him.
There's nowhere else to go.
Nowhere else.
He's always clean shaven, dressed in the smartest.
He does that when he comes here. Only when he comes here. You should see him where he lives. Come there unannounced sometime, and you'll see. You'll see. It's like two people. It's an act.
By the way, do you all know that Alan's mother had come here?
Yes.
No.
He was a dancer at one time.
He looks like a dancer, doesn't he?
There's a thing. Marcia, did you ever see Alan dance? I mean, the ballet variety?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. He does it beautifully.
It just seemed when he used to be really outrageous, though, when he was trying to do that.
I've never seen him dance. I've seen him stagger.
This is the way he introduces films at Myrtle Beach.
I see Alan, and it holds out hope for me that if
Alan can have a clean slate by the time you're done.
He had served a lot of apprentices before he got the job he has now. Wasn't that so? He was here a year or so before he decided to choose him as the main cook.
That's true. That's true. He worked in a country club in Myrtle Beach, a beautiful stately country club that had a dining room that no one came to, and it was and he had a staff. He had a staff of men, and we would go there for dinner, and the staff, the waiters, would be drunk, and Alan would have been drinking, and Alan wore a tuxedo that was very tight. It was very tight, and you would go there, and we went there, a group of us, one night, went for dinner, and our waiter could not stand up straight, right? And he had to lean against the wall, like this, standing straight up in order to take our order, right? And it got worse and worse. The meals were wonderful. The food was wonderful at this place. Alan did a lovely job for these people, but no one came to this restaurant. And this was and finally, this is what led him to the place where he had to leave the United States. He was doing everything that he could, and so he finally just had to come here.
You still want this running?
And it's a marvelous. And I remember he asked me if we would join this country club. We had no money. It was going to cost us $1,000 to join this country club. And then we could come there to eat more often, right? And there was no one that ever went there to eat. It was this great dining room. It was a great, tremendous. It was a dining room, in a way, an American version of like the Pilgrim Center dining room, the way it is now. And so now he's got a crowded dining room, and lots of people coming to eat.
After Alan left.
No, here in India, it's all changed. It's all changed. It's much better now. Much better.
Staff is still drunk.
Well,
but
of a different nature. And he's Alan in that nature. I mean, Alan is quite drunk now. He's quite intoxicated with his love for Bobby. He has all of his bad habits, but he has acquired something much greater in this time. But while the tape recorder is running, I don't want to say anything nice about it.
Have you all ever witnessed the conversation that takes place between John and Alan? No.
Have you?
No, but I have been hearing whispers, you see.
Alan still yells at him.
Yeah. He has remained a faithful disciple of his master, Alan. That shake-up,
John is a very calm and peaceful person. He's very impressive like that. He seems to be a very serene and thoughtful person. And he...
Of a wild master.
Yeah. Well,
disciple of wild master.
Right.
But it always goes like that.
Yeah.
According to Miller-Upper.
Yeah, according to Miller-Upper. What about Rumi? Samshuddin Tabriz was a wild master. And Rumi was a learned scholar, Jalaluddin, Rumi. By the way, how does he behave with the pilgrims?
John is wonderful.
No, Alan. I'm talking of Alan, and you bring in John all the time.
He's very fussy about your table manners.
Who?
You
Alan?
have to use an implement to take the food. If you take anything with your fingers, he comes out and makes a Terrible.
All of a sudden he comes out.
Don't use your fingers. Use the fork.
Yeah.
Use the fork.
But that's very natural. That is hygiene.
The other thing is you're almost tempted to reach for it when you see him behind the screen.
Right. You know, you want to see him.
It's the fact that he's always behind the screen looking over for the people.
I love that picture of them. I wish there was a way to capture the whole feeling. The two of them
hovering
the little
behind the
nose
screen.
We should thank Baba to depute and station such a man to handle things efficiently. Without such one person like that, things will go, shaky, bad shape, indiscipline, and all these things.
And we thank Baba for Alaba being here. That's only one side, he said. Alan on the other side.
The almond outside is hard, inside is soft. While doing like that, please, would you please make your cup empty, please? Your servants want the cup, please. And do it like that. Instead of saying, finish your cup, why the cup not empty? That's bad. Please, like that. We can do the things, handle the things nicely, softly, and at the same time, results come out nice. Like that.
No, he just takes the tea away and he knows we'll be done in 5 minutes.
Who takes the tea away? Alan takes the tea away.
That's the way. They don't say finish your tea. They just take the pot away and then they know your cup in.
And Mark, how do you do in your restaurant?
Just let them finish it when they like. Pick up the tip,
I tell you one story
Your
of
partners, John and Mark.
Yes.
I tell you one story of Hazrat Muhammad. It is very instructive and very nice for all of you. One time, Imam Hussain, Hazrat Muhammad's, like the son-in-law is the Ali's son, and Ali's mother was Muhammad's daughter, Fatima. So they were in mosque. One man came making ablution, is called wuzu, in a wrong way. Now Hassan and Hussein were there. They thought if they tell the man directly that you are making wuzu in a bad way, wrong way, the man his feeling will hurt. So they made a plan and came to the man and said, see, we are two brothers. And he says, my wuzu is wrong and mine is correct. So we both of us make wuzu, this ablution, in front of you. You be a judge and tell us who is wrong, who is right. And they both of them did the same thing and right thing. And lastly, the man said, you both were right, I was wrong. I was corrected by you. See, this is one side of doing the things in correct way. The other side, why you make like that? You don't know the principle of Islam? That is bad way. So, in everything, we can handle nicely, efficiently, like that, things like that. One thing here is a problem for me. I have to go off and on and shut and close the door of the closet. Lavatory, latrine, lavatory. So,
I leave it open.
So, see, I tell you, not all the Americans keep it open. Some of them keep it open. And to the door of the latrine to be open, it looks bad, bad smell may come out. And it is altogether bad. It should be closed like that every time. So, if I see whether man or woman, I won't care. Please go on, close it. I tell them and they do it. But in my absence, when I see it is open, I myself go and close it, because our servants are blind for such a thing. But they are very watchful for other things. If you distribute some eatables, this, that, fruits, they borrow 2 more eyes. And they rush on. But for such a thing, their eyes would not work.
Sir, American.
So I am the only person go there and I close it.
Alaba is much concerned about one thing from us all, and that is when we leave the switch on, you see, in the lavatory or in those stalls over the bathroom.
Water tap, switch.
Water taps.
Yes, like that. When you open the tap and there is no water, you close it. Or when there is also water, say the tap is connected with outside